We got a hot mic.
Yeah, hi.
All right, welcome everybody. I'm going to get us started since we are past 8 o'clock and we have about 7 participants on the Zoom. Welcome to the Q2 Principal Coffee Chat. Thank you to our lovely PTO back there setting up and making sure we are well fed with treats and hot coffee. So really to just kind of frame the conversation for this particular coffee chat, it is a time where we're definitely past the beginning of the year kind of honeymoon phase. We are in the thick of it. Grades for Q1 have been posted and shared, and we're kind of moving on into the real meat of the school year with Q2 and Q3. I did want to just take a minute to thank parents just for their partnership the past couple months and getting started with this school year. There was a lot of moving pieces at any school, especially at high school, and a lot of the different opportunities that provide students. So having all those pieces working together in harmony is always going to be a challenge, but I think we do extremely well here at Lake Norman Charter, and a lot of that is due to just the diligence and flexibility of our parents. The idea as we go into Q2 is not just to maintain, but to constantly refine, improve, grow stronger. I think that's the message that we look at as a school, but also for our students to not just maintain, but continually refine, improve, and get better as they get into Q2. I do want to start out this coffee chat with just some of our quick highlights and wins from Q1. Since the last time we met in a coffee chat, we have some awards and recognition to acknowledge. So the U.S. News and World Report, every year they put out their list of best public high schools. Once again, our high school was on that list. We had shared out on social media a lot of the rankings as how they pertain to percentiles for us compared within the county, the state, and the nation at large. But we continue to maintain the excellence that we've established for so many years. And one other kind of award and recognition I would like to acknowledge is niche.com, which is starting to kind of come up and I wouldn't say rival, but in comparison to U.S. News and World Report, they also are going through high schools and ranking them based upon their metrics. We were ranked the #1 best charter high school in the Charlotte-Mecklenburg area, #3 best charter high school in North Carolina, and the #21 best public high school in North Carolina. And they gave us an A+ rating as our school. And going to the actual NC report card, which looks at all of our end of year data from the previous year, we were once again an A school and we exceeded our growth as a school. So that's pretty consistent being an A school. I think that's been the case since we started. But to me, it's always important to look at that growth. And for us to exceed growth, I think now we're 2 years straight of exceeding growth is incredibly important because it's not just about where our kids are at as far as proficiency, but how much we're growing them every single year, which I think is pretty indicative to the level of instruction we have here and the quality of teachers. We have some logistics and operations wins. So one of the big things, if you're an LNC parent at any of the schools, carpool is always going to be a fun adventure every morning. We noted that at the beginning of this school year, it just seemed like our carpool was increasingly long and difficult. And we made some changes with how we kind of handled that morning carpool by opening a dual drop-off point right at the high school. So now our middle school and high school dual enrolled parents, they can drop their high schooler off right at the high school as opposed to how we've done it in the past. And that along with another change we did at the back end of the carpool lane really improved the flow of traffic. We're looking at now really the bulk of the carpool lane being done by 7:36, which is incredibly important because we want to make sure kids are getting to school on time and getting to class on time, so that no instructional time is lost. So definitely a victory as far as just overall logistics and operations are concerned. We opened up Knights Plaza outside, which has been incredibly popular with our students. I actually played pickleball this morning with a student. I won. It was a hard fought match, but he challenged me for weeks, and I took him up on his challenge, and I showed him who was boss on the pickleball court. But it's been heavily used by our students. So at lunchtime, you go out there, you poke your head out, and you'll see, regardless of the weather, sometimes students are enjoying the plaza if they're just sitting on the turf or playing pickleball, which it's a constant line to get on that court. But it is definitely something that our students are taking advantage of, and it just brings another element of allowing our students and providing them with a space where they can unwind, but also if they want to bring out their work out there, we have plenty of power outlets that they could charge their laptops or their devices. I do want to just follow up at the first coffee chat. I probably talked about the adoption of the student ID, which every student has, and we're starting to use them with scanning in. That's also greatly improved our operations and logistics, especially for our front office, but also adding another layer of security. So our students have been, if they're coming in late, checking in by scanning in. This is all linked to Infinite Campus, so everything is just going directly in there and providing that digital log. But it also just improves the experience for our front office team because they're dealing with that influx of lates or absences. It just allows for an ease of use because we're not going through multiple platforms or going directly through Infinite Campus. And right now we are actually in phase 1 of classroom scanners. So our teachers have been provided with a scanner as well. And one of the biggest things about working at a high school is that we don't do daily attendance, we do period attendance. So that means our teachers, if you have 6 classes you teach each day, you're going to take attendance every one of those periods. The barcode scanners in the classroom attendance just allows students to come in, they quickly scan, and they're marked either present or late, depending on when they scan in. If they don't scan in, they're marked absent. Teachers can obviously make manual changes to that procedure, but ultimately it's going to take that, what isn't a massive task, off our teachers' plates. They've loved the teachers who've experienced and are in that phase 1 of the classroom attendance scanners. They've loved it. Students get used to it. They just walk in, they scan in, and they're marked present. Nightlink, which has replaced Student News, has also been seen as a success. It's our regular platform for where we're providing students with the latest updates on what is happening around the school, from club events or school-wide events. I love it as just a personal connection to be able to quickly speak to students if an issue comes up that I need to talk to them about. It is a platform that I can easily reach them and know that they're going to see it because they do check Schoology so often. But now with just the reformat of it, it allows for us to also put consistent resources and information at a place that students can access at any given time. And then nighttime and FlexiSched. So one of the big changes this year, last year we implemented FlexiSched. This year we gave students a little more agency in what they selected to do each day, with the exception of Wednesdays. This allows students to just put themselves into a teacher's nighttime if they need extra help or support, but it also provides more opportunities during the school day for clubs to meet. What I will say, just from walking around here during nighttime, it's far more dynamic than it's ever been. Especially with the integration of Knights Plaza. You'll see club meetings happening in the NPR, which is pretty much booked out every single day of the week for club meetings. But it provides our students with an opportunity, especially for students who can't stay after school for a club meeting, whether that's sports or just getting a ride. Now our clubs, which we have tons of them at the high school, now they can meet during the school day. This is also leading to other kind of informal clubs that teachers that have an interest, and they're we're allowing them the opportunity to provide these offerings to students as well. Just the other day, a couple weeks ago, I was walking around and we had a meeting going on in the NPR. Mr. Luna had students out in the plaza, and they were doing, I think the tango or some dance that was correlated to Spanish club. And then he had pickleball going on the pickleball court. So just a more dynamic experience. And I think an opportunity where providing students with more agency and control of what they want to do during nighttime, but also allowing for that level of structure where if a teacher needs to pull them in or they need to go see a teacher, we have those opportunities to do that with FlexiSched's platform. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about our sports, our fall season, because it was a pretty successful one. So all of our women's sports, they wrapped up their playoffs and championships this past weekend, and we are now in the thick of the men's sports teams, their playoff. And I do want to call out our teams because especially our lady sports teams, they had a tremendous fall season. So our women's golf, they're the 4A state champions. This is the first in program history. The cross country state championship was this past weekend. Our men cross country team, they placed 11th, and our women's team placed second. Our volleyball team, our women's volleyball team, they are 4A state champions, which is also a first in program history. They took that home on Friday. They played up in, I think it was Wake Forest. Yep. Phenomenal game, back and forth. It was pretty special, and just want to congratulate all of the coaches and players. Our women's tennis, they were also participating in the state championship this past weekend. They were state runner-up for individuals, and they are the 4A state doubles champions. Shout out to Lucy and Elenia who took that home for us. Just phenomenal success this past season, and I think we just become so accustomed to the sports accolades, whether it's regional champion or state champion. But I think it's really cool to call out. We had two of those first in program history with our women's golf and volleyball teams taking home the state title. So incredibly proud of them. Incredibly proud of all the coaches, players, as well as our athletic director Matt Schlegel and his team, Gene Peppercorn and Mark Steele. Who are running around behind the scenes, making sure that we are coordinating and making sure our students are getting fed and getting off safely to whatever location these games and matches are. I will like to also call out the fact that our volleyball team not only took home the state championship, they took it under some unique circumstances because our gym floor was out of commission because some water damage. So we're undergoing a full replacement of the gym floor. So every single one of their games, for the most part, was in the middle school gym, and a lot of their practices were coordinated by going to Huntersville rec gyms, and they endured a lot of adversity to get to where they were, and now they're at the top of the mountaintop. So congratulations to them. At the beginning of the school year, talked about some changes that we made to our counseling program, which is now known as High School Student Services. That included the addition of a new counselor, a ninth grade counselor. So if you are a ninth grade parent, it is likely that your student has met with Ms. Tapman, our ninth grade counselor. And I'll just speak just from my personal experience, but also on behalf of our counselors. It's been a tremendous experience having that ninth grade counselor. One, I think of the transition coming into high school from middle school, such a giant leap. Having a dedicated counselor to help guide them through that experience is incredibly important. This also has allowed us to be strategic with our team and how we allocate our time and effort and attention. It's streamlined our other counselors' caseloads because of the addition of this new counselor. It's also allowed for Christine Casillas to be our sole CPCC coordinator. And she spent a lot of time refining that experience for our CPCC students, trying to make it as smooth and easy as possible. It's not an easy process to navigate as a parent because you are interfacing solely with CPCC and they are handled as a CPCC student. So a lot of the control and hands-on approach that we can take with registration for LNC classes, we're just not provided with that because it is its own separate entity. We're not getting consistent grades that we can just pop into a portal and see how a student's doing. We're reliant upon the students to provide us with those checkpoints. But Christine has done a phenomenal job of embedding a lot of these checkpoints for our students at CPCC. She's also provided some resources to allow them to better plan out their courses so that if they want to go for their associate's degree, they know the clear path and how to get there. And then the other big addition was a CPCC student hub, which is located on Schoology, which provides access to a lot of these resources, as well as a consistent checkpoint for information. And just kind of for perspective of how many students we have enrolled at CPCC, we have 122 juniors currently enrolled at CPCC. And when you look at our overall junior class, it's about 200. Same for our seniors, and our seniors have 158 of them enrolled at CPCC. So in total, 280 students, close to 300 of our students here, almost half, they're enrolled in 647 courses for fall of 2025 at CPCC. 647 courses. So that just kind of puts some of those numbers in perspective. It's a great opportunity for students to not only get that college credit, but also help our parents with, the more college credit they can accumulate right now, it's less they'll need to take when they go off to a four-year school. We've had cases where students are starting as pretty much a junior when they leave here. So that's incredibly advantageous for our students and a great opportunity. One of the other big things that our student services team has been able to do because of some other logistics changes is with the fact that grades are now on Infinite Campus in real time and not just at the quarter. This allows us to triangulate a lot of that data. So we have monthly data dashboard meetings. We're able to identify areas and students that might need extra support and assistance. So combining this with a streamlined caseload and some of the other changes that we made, it allows us to be a lot more nimble, flexible, and attack problems before they become problems. We now can see the trend lines. We can see the students who need more assistance and more help and more support. That coupled with the ability for teachers and students to get that support during nighttime really provides a full circle and 360 support model that I think is incredibly important at high school where our students need that. But really proud of the work that our counseling team, our student services team has put in and reorganizing and reformatting and really delivering a high level of service that is unheard of at other schools. And just kind of sometimes we get the perspective of if we've been here for a while, whether that's the success that we have in sports and academics, but it's also the support and service that we provide that no other high school truly can provide. No other high school you go to, are you going to have a grade level touch point meeting where a student, whether that's freshman meetings, sophomore meetings, junior meetings, senior meetings, you're not going to have that grade level meeting one-on-one with a student and a counselor at any other big comprehensive high school. And it's because of our team's flexibility, but also their effort and their support that they're able to do that. I did want to look ahead to the rest of the school year as well as Q2. So we just delivered to every one of our students the updated Blueprint workbook. So for those parents who are new, so our freshman parents, last year we unveiled our L&C Blueprint program, which is essentially a combined effort with leadership and action programming that we do every Wednesday or monthly in the Wednesday nighttime meetings, but also with our counselor activities and our Naviance activities to provide a game plan for our students while they're in high school for what they want to do when they leave here, exposing them to careers, allowing them to explore their interests, but then also game planning those next steps. How do I get from point A to point B? And how do I decide what I want to do? So our Blueprint program, which we started last year with the deployment of these workbooks, so each grade level has a tangible workbook that serves as not only an interactive notebook that corresponds to what activities you might be doing in LIA or Naviance, but it's also a resource, and it's a resource for them to go back and look at. So especially when they're getting into those college application and starting to game plan for your senior year, it's giving them a timeline and a step-by-step for that grade level, what they need to be doing. So it's providing with another resource that's guiding their experience and what comes next. One of the big changes to the blueprint workbooks for our freshman workbooks, at the back half of it are what we call principal productivity. And I'm collaborating with our ninth grade counselor, Ms. Tapman. And starting in January, we're going to actually be pushing into the night times for ninth grade and actually delivering productivity lessons to allow our students, our ninth graders, to learn some productivity skills and tips that are going to help serve them for the remainder of their high school experience. So how you prioritize your time, how you manage your time, how you can plan out your week, plan out your month, how you can eliminate some of those procrastination habits that we get into, habit tracking. So looking at things like the Pomodoro technique and looking at the Eisenhower decision matrix when you are prioritizing what you need to tackle. These are all things that Ms. Tapman and I are actually going to be covering with our ninth graders. Because once again, they're our foundation. And if we can kind of instill them with some of these skills, they will go on throughout the remainder of high school with those skills and be able to tackle whatever comes their way. So incredibly excited about that new effort that will be starting in January. Knight's Armor was something that I introduced in our back to school meeting and introduced in our coffee chats. So you'll be seeing in the next coming weeks some communication that's targeted specifically to our parents and specifically to our students, because essentially we're going to be rolling out this Knight's Armor. We had kind of a soft launch at the beginning of the year, just getting students and parents exposed to what Knight's Armor is. But what we wanted to start to do each month is focus on a different piece of armor and what that aligned skill is, and providing our parents and our students with resources that guide them on why that skill is important. Because ultimately, the objective of Knight's Armor is, we know the world that students are going into is unpredictable. And the diplomas that you could walk away with, whether it's in high school and college, might not always guarantee success like they once did. Our aim is to provide our students with durable skills that are really applicable and tangible in any career or changing career landscape that exists whenever they graduate high school and graduate college. So you'll be seeing a lot more communication coming from us and coming from all three schools as it pertains to Knight's Armor within the next couple weeks. I did want to take an opportunity to highlight a new group at LNC. It's called Parent Connect. Ms. Lindsay, do you want to come up here and give kind of an overview of what that is? You can take my seat.
Morning.
Welcome.
Thank you. Parent Connect is a group. We are under community relations, and we are just going to be spending some time bridging relationships between parents, having some fun activities, and the school administrative team. So that's pretty simple, just building relationships, building community, building stronger community within LNC across all three campuses.
We're going to hype up our event tomorrow.
We are having our first one, high school parent pop-up. Will be here at the high school in Knights Plaza tomorrow, starting at 5 p.m. So from 5 to 7:30. We're going to have some food trucks. We're going to have a DJ. We're going to have some competition out here on the pickleball and ping pong tables. So come prepared to compete and have a little bit of fun connecting with other parents. And Malik will be there. And hopefully some staff members, other staff members. Are you coming?
Possibly.
Possibly.
I'll be at the beginning.
Okay. So hopefully everyone comes out to enjoy and build some relationships here at the high school, especially our freshman parents, because we haven't really had, myself included, haven't really had time to come here and meet everyone and spend some time at the high school.
Thank you. Parent Connect.
Yes, Parent Connect.
Ms. Bernard, will you be there?
How are your pickleball skills? We'll see tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I will say, so like I see the pickleball hype because I mean I look out my window and I see pickleball going on pretty much all day. Kids playing before school even starts. And I played today and I was like, I get it. I get it. It is fun. So come out, support our entire school, but also a way for all of our parents is to connect. I do want to just touch on the calendar. So next Tuesday is a holiday, so no school. We have our pre-ACT for sophomores on the 12th, and also on the 12th is Anxious Generation book study, which is all digital. And that's been pretty successful and well attended. And I think largely it centers on something important to all of us is just technology and its impact on our students. We have our National Honor Society induction on the 20th, and then we have remote learning on the 25th with our break following thereafter for Thanksgiving. Our high school chorus and band have a concert on December 4th, and then midterms right before winter break in the close of the semester, the week of the 16th of December, and that goes right till the 19th, and then we're out for winter break. I do want to turn it over to Mr. Funchess to provide general testing updates, and we're going to talk about MAP reports as well.
A little bit. So since the Q1 coffee chat, if you had your student sign up for the PSAT, they took that on October 15th, I think it was. So when those scores come out, every student that took the PSAT should have had opened up a College Board account if they didn't have one already. The scores will go directly to the College Board account. Usually, College Board will send an email letting you know when the scores are coming. The school, we get a copy of that. So if your student does not have access, we can provide those scores for you when we get them. I think they get released to the students prior to us getting the actual hard copies or the digital copy of the reports. So that was in October. As Malik stated, the pre-ACT is the state-funded test for all sophomores in the state of North Carolina. That will take place for us on next Wednesday. That'll be the 12th. So for parents, nothing for you guys to do. It's simply a state-funded test, which is preparing kids for the ACT when they're in their junior year. And then, as Malik stated, once again, midterms for all students will be the last 4 days of the semester here at the high school. The schedule is 2 periods per day. So on that Tuesday, it's first and second period. Then it goes third and fourth, then fifth and sixth. And then the last day is seventh period. Then any makeups, if a kid was absent earlier in the week, they have time to make up any midterm that they may have missed. So those are teacher-made exams. So if there's any scheduling situation or any absences, then the student needs to reach out to the teacher to schedule any makeups possible. And I'm going to speak real quick about these testings that we're doing. I know some families or some students don't, I guess, understand the purpose or the reason of the testing. One is just pretty much practice. The main test your child's going to take is going to be in their junior year. It's either going to be the ACT or if you choose to pay for the SAT, which is your college admissions exam. All tests leading up to that pretty much are your practices for standardized testing. As most of you probably are aware, standardized testing is going to be pretty much what you're going to deal with for the remainder of your educational career. So the more practice you can get with that type of test, the better prepared you'll be for it. It's not all about content. Test taking is a skill, and some students and families don't recognize that. So the more practice you get in that skill, the better off you'll be on those tests. Because sometimes, as some parents can attest, my child knows the content, but they just can't do well on this test. You need to practice taking those type of questions and those type of tests. So for freshmen and sophomores, when you're taking the MAPS test, I advise you to take it seriously and actually try to do your best on the test. Don't just blow it off, but get that practice in. For the pre-ACT that's happening next month for the sophomores, once again, it is a practice test. You will get score reports for all of these tests. take a look at the score reports. We're going to work on some ways of trying to educate families and students of how to read these reports and see what's valuable in them. It's not just the score, but also the skills that you are showing either proficiency in or deficit in. And what can you do to sort of work on those skills? But also, it also for the pre-ACT and the MAPS, it does give projections on the actual ACT or your college readiness. So when these reports come out, we want to encourage families and students to sort of take a look at these and see where do you need to work on. So it's not just to test you for test's sake, but also it's a way to prepare you for when the tests that count, which is going to be in your junior year, your ACT or your SAT, if you decide to take that, you are best set up for success in those. So going forward, I would say for the MAP testing for our freshmen and sophomores, take advantage of those times and actually prepare and do your best on that. When Malik said we were looking at data and trying to assist our kids, one thing we're starting to look at is MAP testing because all of our freshmen and sophomores are taking it. If a kid has a deficit or is excelling somewhere, where can we either help or further push those students to succeed? But if students are not giving us valid scores, which means they may be blowing the test off, it's kind of hard to use that data in a real way. So we encourage families to really encourage your students, especially if you have a freshman or sophomore. When those MAP tests come out, we have 2 more scheduled this year. One's going to be in January. The other one, I believe, is in March for freshmen and sophomores. Make sure you prepare and actually try your best on those. As far as sophomores, you have the pre-ACT next week. That's another time for you to really practice those skills. And then for the juniors, you have your actual ACT in March of next year. So when these tests come out, it's really going to be in your best interest to really do your best on it. But also, if there's a practice test, I would say practice the best you can. And that's really the best way to prepare for these tests is just practice. Content is part of it, but also test taking strategies is the other piece of it as well. So at LNC, we do give you those MAP testing for one to help prepare for these standardized tests, but also to try to help you if there's something way we can help you in a skill wise. MAPS is not a content test; it is a skill test. It is a math skill. It is a reading skill. It is not content based. So it's looking at your reading ability and your math computation ability. That's really what it boils down to. But once again, we're going to work on trying to get those reports out to families and help you better understand what the scores mean so we can best serve your child, and you can also assist us with that as well.
And going back to a lot of times parents like, how can I help my student prepare for ACT and SAT? Within Naviance, which every student has a Naviance account, there is it's called test prep or test taking prep. But on there are practice and lessons that are focused in on those particular assessments that will help prepare and guide them towards what that what those tests are going to look like, but also giving them, valuable practice right up until when they actually take them. And regardless of the fact, it's something that colleges are looking for, and it's something that can also get, depending upon your score, colleges to look at you and kind of pursue you. So it is something that we do understand. It's kind of something that we have to, in education and in high school education, we're always going to have to prioritize to some extent, and the importance of it in the next step after high school is also valid. At this time, I do want to open it up to questions. I'll read 2 questions. I got 2 questions from the Google form. There's a question about what is the normal time a teacher has to grade assignment once it is turned in. We provide our teachers with the guidance that it should not exceed more than 2 weeks for a grade to be for an assignment. But this is obviously going to vary based upon the assignment. The thing is papers may take a little bit longer just because our teachers have to read through them all before they can provide feedback and then provide a grade. One thing we do stress with our teachers, though, is especially in a assignment that provide or needs feedback, for a student to possibly make some changes, that we have to be conscious of when that feedback is provided, because if there is an opportunity for a student to improve upon that, they need ample time before that feedback is provided and before grades are closed. There was also a question about why the high school switched to sharing information on Instagram. We could not find info on homecoming dance. I believe this question, we have not switched to sharing information on Instagram. We have many different communication platforms and strategies. Sometimes things are shared through Schoology if it's very important and it needs to be sent out through the emails that you'll see that are kind of standardized in how they look, so you kind of know when it's coming. I believe the issue with this was that student council, they handle everything homecoming related, and a lot of their communication is done through social media. But oftentimes when there is something that they need to communicate out to our whole student body and kind of make everybody aware of, they will post on Schoology. So there might have just been a gap in some of that information that was shared. Any questions from the people in the room?
It was a comment too of what you just said. It's also, a lot of it is on the website, on the calendar. So if people are checking out the calendar, definitely the time listed there as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that calendar is a great one-stop shop for everything. I think you're actually able to we provide the calendar. If you go to our website, there's a hard copy that you can print out, but there's also that live version that exists and is embedded right in the website. You can actually take that calendar and embed it. It gives you a little calendar URL that you can then take and embed into your phone or whatever calendar platform that you use, and then you can actually filter it by what's relevant to you. So if you don't want to see what's going on at the elementary and middle school and just the high school, you have that ability to toggle, because that was like one of the first things I did when I started here, was just take that calendar, embed it into my overall Google Calendar, and then I can just check off what I want to view. But yeah. Well, I thank everybody for joining us. Sarah's got an update.
7 things really fast.
Seven.
Yeah,
Leaving my
they're quick,
seat.
they're quick. First of all, I want to say, because I'm looking at Ashley Landman, please sign up to help serve lunch at the high school. That is number one. And all of our schools are struggling to some degree, but the high school is struggling the very most for volunteers. So I just want to say 2 quick things about that. One, all of the money goes to our teachers, and the big thing that they get, there's so many things, and I don't have time to talk about them all. We are going to do a little mini campaign of information and hopefully persuasion this month about Serve 10 in general, but especially serving lunches, and especially serving lunches at the high school. But the middle school is also struggling. And if Nikki Lowe were here at the elementary, she probably would say, we need people as well. But so much, the money goes back, please understand, to the teachers. And it's kind of like, if mama's happy or not happy, ain't no one happy mentality. The teachers set the pace. They truly are the soul of what we do and who we are. I was chatting over the weekend with a brand new teacher, just graduated college, hired at Myers. Myers Park. Thank you. Myers Park. And she was like saying, it's great because I got $100 from my PTO at the beginning. So she doesn't know anything different. Like, what did we give our teachers? $250 at the beginning of the year. And Emma told me, that's the graduate that just started at Myers Park in 9th grade, personal finance and economics. Yes. That, it just goes so fast. The money goes so fast. We all know that today. Our money power is not as strong as it was. So please understand that our parents volunteering leads to profits for the PTO, which is turned around. They're all volunteers. Like, there's no overhead for them. It all is returned to our teachers and therefore our students. So please support that. And then number 2, if we don't have that parent volunteerism, we are contacted all of the time, you guys, for third-party vendors who want to come in and take care of our lunch program. And they'll be happy to do that, but they will take such a cut. They will take a cut of that. And that will then diminish the amount of funds flowing through the PTO to our teachers. So that's what I have to say about that. Please, 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 particularly those of you who are buying lunch for your children. It's a convenience. We all love that. If you enjoy the benefit and the opportunity to do that, please look at your calendars, set a time for semester 1 and set a time for semester 2. That is all we're asking, is 2 volunteer dates per year, 1 in the first semester, 1 in the second semester. Okay, number 2, gift of the season. Another, I'm gonna brag on the PTO. One of the most favorite things for staff members here is gift of the season and the cookie walk, bar none. We love the lunches and all of the other things, but those are 2 of the most favorite things. So a little shout out to all of our bakers who make cookie walk possible. But the real one I want to mention is gift of the season is going to be starting in the next week. You'll get communication on that. If you are busy at the holidays and who isn't, it's a super convenient way to love on your teachers and show your appreciation through simply joining the structure that the PTO already has for you to just do gift of the season. When my kids were here, I did gift of the season because it was just easier that way. All of the funds that come in are distributed among all of our staff, all 182 staff. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful thing that people so appreciate. It seems to come like in that week leading up to that final Friday of here before we break. And we appreciate it so much. So that will be coming out, gift of the season. I just want to say sincerely from our heart, all of my team of leadership at LNC, thank you to all of our families who partner with us for all 3 projects, the Places and Spaces. As any kind of construction project, we're still wrapping up some small punch list detail kind of a thing. But Knights Plaza, since it's high school we're talking to, as Mr. Malik said, is simply amazing. The kids love it. It warms our heart. It makes all of it worthwhile. And it would have 100% not been possible without parent support. 0 funds came from Link Dorman Charter. It all came from our parents for all 3 amenities at all 3 schools. So the kids are loving it. And I wish it were here when my 3 kids were here. Like, it is just amazing to see the kids unwinding a little bit. Yes, sometimes they're on screens, but a lot of times they aren't, which is exactly what we had intended for that. Parent pop-up, as Jamelia said, we're so excited for that. The thing that she left out is if you guys are able, only if you're able, don't stress, but we are asking if you want to bring a paddle for either ping pong or pickleball, because they are super popular and things tend to walk away or most likely get broken because the kids are very
Enthused.
very enthused. Thank you for providing all my words today, Mr. Funches. The kids are all very enthused about it, and they're sweet because they put the broken pieces into the chest that we have out here to store all the equipment. So I think they're just saying like, hey, Ms. Leia, it broke. So we provided some things at the beginning, but we can't obviously continue to provide that. We are looking into some kind of a secured locker. Maybe it would be so cool that the kids with their lanyard would be able to swipe and get into the locker, and that would provide a little bit more accountability. And most of all, just like have safeness for our equipment and ensure that it's there for when the kids need it. Because we've seen them playing with like Crocs and different shoes and things instead of paddles, cell phones. Yeah, probably that's how the ping pong paddles got broken, because they were playing pickleball with the ping pong paddles. So if you're able, first of all, just come Wednesday, tomorrow night. It's going to be great. We so are excited about this Parent Connect and this team of 21 that Jamelia Lindsay has going on. I'm so excited about that. I'll be there for a bit. We also have a board meeting that night. So I think I'll be Mr. Malik and Ms. Stein, Mr. Funches, and so on. We'll be kind of in and out, but we're hoping for a good crowd. And even a small crowd. What we really want to see is that parent-to-parent connection. It's so tough with charter schools to keep that. And I think as the kids get older, we just back off as parents, which is natural to back off and let them have some independence. But we don't at all want to back off from our parent-to-parent connection. So that's what Parent Connect is about. So please come. And if you do remember and can, bring a pair of paddles or a paddle for pickleball or ping pong. If you don't, that's okay too. But we are collecting those. I think that's it. Ms. Stein, did I forget anything? All right, thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. All right, well, we will close our Q2 coffee chat. We'll see you in Q3, but thank you once again for everybody's partnership. Look forward to a very good Q2 and finishing out 2025 and looking ahead to 2026 as we make that switch. All right, have a good day.